Hey, welcome back to Michael Reality Recap, your daily dose of reality TV chaos. I'm Michael, and if you are new here, buckle up because we do not hold back on this channel. We give you the truth, the tea, and all the messiness in between. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you never miss a single recap. Because these reality TV folks, they stay giving me content. And today we are recapping the couple that has absolutely carried season 8 on their backs. I genuinely cannot think of another couple this season that has brought this level of entertainment on a consistent basis. They have been the engine of season 8, full stop. I'm talking about Lisa and Daniel, the scammer and the scammy, the faux African queen and her Nigerian prince, charming, who has never once in this entire season said the words, "I love her," but has mentioned the word visa approximately 47 times. These two have been must-watch television every single week, and today we are sending them off in style. So let us get into it because this final episode had everything: drama, tears, a conversation I was not spiritually prepared for, and one of the most honest confessionals in the history of this franchise. Lisa is on her way out. 3 weeks in Nigeria, 3 weeks of chaos, confrontation, close calls, and wig incidents that we will not soon forget. And she is finally heading to the airport to fly back to America. But before any of that happens, these two wake up and immediately launch into a conversation that should come with a warning label. Lisa looks at Daniel and says there is one promise he did not keep the night before. One specific promise. And Daniel says which one. And Lisa says oral sex. It is barely past sunrise and I am already not okay. Now, Daniel claims complete ignorance on the subject. Never done it, would not know where to start, has zero experience in that department. And I need everybody to cast their minds back to episode 1 when Lisa sat in that confessional and told the world that Daniel devoured her. Her words, devoured, before the wig came off. So this sudden helplessness is not something I am prepared to accept. Then he goes to the confessional and explains himself. He says the women in Lisa's past have been the ones handling that for her. And since he is not a woman, that is not something he is going to be stepping up to do. He has mentally categorized it and placed it in a box that does not belong to him. He does offer a promise though. Once they are married, once he touches down in America, once the green card situation is resolved, then maybe he will figure it out. But that promise has the shelf life of a paper towel in a rainstorm. He is buying time and everybody in the room knows it. They eventually move on and start getting ready to leave for the airport. And I have to acknowledge that Lisa walks out in full traditional Nigerian attire for an international flight. She is committed to the faux African queen identity straight through to the departure gate. And honestly, the consistency is something to behold, even if the airport security line is going to be an experience. As they are getting themselves together, Daniel starts running down everything he is going to miss about her. Her soft lips, her presence, all of it. The man is running the charm offensive all the way to the finish line, and you cannot say he is not dedicated to his craft. But here is what he never says. He never says he loves her. He says she has given him love. He says he will miss everything. But the declaration of his own feelings, his own love for this woman that never shows up, not in conversation, not in confessional, nowhere. And that gap is doing a lot of heavy lifting because when they ask him what he is most afraid of as she prepares to leave, he does not say losing the woman of his dreams. He says he is terrified she is going to get back to America and back out of her promises, specifically the promise about getting his visa processed. Not heartbreak, not longing, the visa. The visa is the thing keeping him up at night. The visa is what is squeezing those tears out at the airport. The visa is this entire relationship boiled down to its core ingredient. And just in case there was any remaining doubt, he goes to confessional one more time and breaks it all the way down. He says he is not marrying Lisa for her money. Okay, fair enough. And then instead of saying something about genuine love or connection, he says he is marrying her because she has solid plans for him and she is the one who is going to process his immigration paperwork. He is not even in the building with love. He skipped love entirely and went straight to logistics. I cannot make this up. Lisa, on her end, does her own reflection as they prepare to leave. She looks back on the trip and describes it as unexpected and meaningful. She talks about the engagement, the uncle meeting, being in the presence of local royalty, all of it. And she frames it like a beautiful journey she never could have predicted. And I am watching this thinking that every single thing she just listed was a crisis situation. The uncle confrontation alone should have been enough to send her packing 2 weeks early. She came within arm's reach of some very serious community judgment on more than one occasion. But Lisa has decided to remember it as an adventure, and she is walking away at peace with that version of events. That is a skill, honestly. Then comes the money conversation. Lisa sits him down and lays it out plainly. Every dollar she makes from here on out is going toward the immigration attorney, the visa costs, and whatever it takes to get Daniel to America. The personal spending stops. The money transfers stop. Everything redirects toward the mission. Daniel agrees, very calm, very understanding, except he slips in one condition. He says Nigeria can be rough and unpredictable. If something comes up that he cannot handle financially on his own, he may need to call her for a little help. Lisa says, okay, but only in a real emergency. That first emergency call is coming within the week. I am confident in that prediction. And while we are on the subject of finances, can someone explain to me how Lisa is responsible for paying every single cost associated with this visa process? Because Daniel told us he works construction. Construction pays. So where is that money going? What is it covering? Because it is not covering any of this. He is watching her confirm she will fund the entire operation, and his expression does not change. This is simply how he sees the arrangement. She works, she pays, he eventually arrives. The scammer economy is alive and functioning. All right, they get to the airport, and Lisa starts getting emotional before they even walk through the doors. She says she expected it to be hard, but she was not prepared for how hard. And she mentions that the last time they stood at this airport, he got down on one knee and proposed to her, which is worth pausing on, because at that moment, he did not have the full picture. He did not know about the ongoing legal marriage. He did not know about the secrets she had been carrying. He proposed based on a version of Lisa that turned out to be substantially incomplete. Whether any of this would have happened if he had known everything from the start is genuinely interesting to think about. Inside the terminal, they hold onto each other. Lisa is crying real tears. She does not want to release him. And Daniel puts on one of the more impressive farewell performances I have seen on this show. Steady, present, telling her to look at his photo when she misses him, running every play in the playbook right up until the final second. Then he goes to confessional and admits the source of his fear. And it is not that he cannot imagine being without her. It is that he cannot imagine going through all of this: the trips, the drama, the uncle, the goats, the entire production, and then having it fall apart before the visa comes through. That is what has him in his feelings. And at this point, I respect the transparency. He is not pretending anymore. The strategy is fully visible, and he is still executing it. That takes a certain kind of commitment. Lisa eventually has to walk away. She pulls herself together, straightens up in her traditional attire, and heads toward the gate without looking back. And watching her go, I was genuinely wondering if this is the last time we see these two together on this show. Because regardless of everything, both of them have earned their flowers this season. Not for being a functional couple, not for modeling healthy relationship behavior, but for delivering unmatched entertainment from the very first episode all the way to the very last frame. Daniel, you came with a plan and you executed it under conditions that would have broken most people. You handled every obstacle, every confrontation, every emotional eruption, and you never lost your composure. That is a performance for the record books. Lisa, you arrived in Nigeria carrying secrets, a wig, and more optimism than the situation called for. You nearly got yourself into serious trouble multiple times. You cried, you fought, you made up, you fought again, and you left wearing traditional African attire on an international flight home. That is a whole story arc in one human being. If next week does not include these two, somebody is going to need to talk me back in off the ledge. Drop a like if this recap delivered. Subscribe if you want to stay in the loop, and let me know in the comments what you think happens first when Lisa lands. Does she call Daniel or does she call the immigration lawyer? Because those are genuinely two different priorities. Peace. See y'all soon.